Well, back here in Oklahoma City, the legislature continues to conduct a host of interim studies to determine the focus and priorities for the upcoming legislative session in February. With more on that, I spoke with Quorum Call publisher Sean Ashley at the state capitol. Sean, remind us, what's the purpose of interim studies and what benefit do they provide?
Well, interim studies allow lawmakers to take a deeper dive into specific issues. Rather than looking at the changes that a particular bill makes, they can look at an issue more broadly and consider various implications involved, having experts and even constituents to talk about how particular laws are impacting their lives.
So what's caught your eye thus far?
Well, I would say a couple of areas, really. First, public safety. Now, we all know about efforts to bring about criminal justice reform, and those are being discussed. But we've also heard discussions related to changes in Oklahoma's DUI laws, particularly as it relates to repeat offenders and how those might better be tracked. We've also heard discussions about ideas concerning sheriff's deputy salaries, which are set in state statute essentially, and they would like to see those increased. On the economic development side, we've heard a number of studies related to what communities can do to bring new businesses into town. And we've also heard about some of the challenges that businesses are facing recruiting individuals. Perhaps one of the most interesting was a story out of Tulsa where an engineering firm was looking to hire an individual who lived there in Tulsa, but they were competing with an Austin company. They lost that individual to the Austin company, but that engineer will remain in Tulsa and work remotely.
Sean, what about the executive branch? Does Governor Stitt and his team get involved in what interim studies are chosen?
Well, we've seen in previous years where various gubernatorial administrations have asked individual members to carry particular interim studies. Under Governor Kevin Stitt's administration, we have not seen so much of that. However, if you listen to any of his State of the State speeches and when he's out in public talking, often he refers to the findings from some of those interim studies. So his office is paying attention.
Well, Sean, lawmakers are getting ready to return here to the Capitol to resume the second special session, and it appears that allocating these ARPA funds will be a priority.
That's right. Money from the American Rescue Plan Act, some $1.87 billion that Oklahoma has received, is being discussed in these meetings. What we've seen so far are meetings of the working groups of the Joint Committee on Pandemic Relief. They make recommendations to the full Joint Committee. The committee then makes recommendations to the legislature, and those recommendations become bills that lawmakers will hear in the second special session. We understand that the House is going to come back September 28th, 29th, and 30th. We don't yet know when the Senate will return, but when they do, they will then have to work out the logistics of making sure all the bills are heard in both chambers.
Sean, are the midterm elections, do they affect what interim studies are discussed? After all, these are politicians, correct?
That's true. Now, it may not impact quite so much exactly what they talk about, but it does impact the number of interim studies and how many get heard. In a non-election year, we normally see about 2 times as many requests as we saw this year, and that was a little over 100 between the House and the Senate. We also see fewer studies conducted during election years, but this year we've seen a large number that have been heard so far. They essentially have through the month of October to get those heard prior to the election, so it seems like they're going to remain busy even though it is an election year.
Sean, remind me again, when does the legislative session begin next year?
The legislative session will get underway in January, first with Organizational Day, where various leadership positions are elected. And then we'll hear from the governor, whoever that is, in February with the State of the State speech, and then we'll be back at it legislating every day.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome.